Sports is brought to you by All Out Auto Repair, home of the $46 Saskatchewan and $66 Alberta Safety Inspection. Your complete automotive repair.
Moses joins us on the desk now with a first look at sports and a big game for the Bobcats tonight. I know I'm excited about it.
Well, it should be fun. You got one of the best teams in the country taking on the Bobcats. Just, you know, the fight between those two, and they've been great the previous meetings that they've had this season. So it should be a great game tonight. A big game tonight, just like I mentioned. The Lloydminster Bobcats are taking the first place Spruce Grove Saints, 14 points separating these two teams, and on top of that, the Saints loaded up at the trade deadline. The Bobcats have 4 players out of the lineup, 1 to suspension, but the 2 new Bobcats will make their debut. Kerry McCullough caught up with the debutants and the rest of the team as they prepare for the Saints.
After a week of trades and injuries keeping the team on their toes, the Bobcats will be facing the Spruce Grove Saints tonight for the first time in 2012.
Now you're playing against one of the best teams in the country, so I guess if you were to look at it on paper and you sit there, they've done a lot to improve their lineup. We've always had very good games against them. 2 nationally ranked teams in Canada playing against each other.
Topher Flanagan has been cleared for contact after a questionable hit on Wednesday, and the acquisition of defenseman Izaak Bergund and Michael King will certainly add to the Bobcats' firepower.
I think it's going to be fun jumping in my first game here against the biggest rivalry. I mean, it kind of brings me back to our games with Westside against Vernon. It was always a bloodbath, and I think that's going to be a bit of what it's going to be like here tonight, so I'm excited.
I think we're getting settled in and pretty excited to get on the ice and start playing.
To get a win over the Saints would not only provide much-needed points for the Bobcats, but set a tone for the upcoming playoffs and show that they are a top contender for the AJHL championship.
To win, like I do every night. Just to go out and win, or not me, our guys, and to challenge themselves to recognize who they're playing, to keep building towards their dream, and their goal was to wear a ring on their finger.
Kerry McCullough, Newcap Sports.
Sticking with the Bobcats, the AJHL handed down suspensions for Wednesday night's game versus the Kodiaks. Sam Jardine is suspended for 2 games for his hit, the late hit on Topher Flanagan midway through the first period Wednesday night. Jardine did receive 5 and a game for it. Flanagan is a game-time decision for tonight. He did walk on by himself there. John Atkinson is suspended for 2 games as well for his blow to the head of Ryland Wiest in the 3rd period of that contest. Wiest was visibly shaken up and on the play. Atkinson has 36 points in 42 games. A little bit of a disappointment to not see him in the lineup, but should be a good game nonetheless tonight against the Saints. Moving on to basketball, the Lakeland Rustlers men's basketball team is back in action with a pair of games against Southern Division opponents.
It's been over a month since the Rustlers played a meaningful game, with conference play starting tonight. The team is ready to get that second half going.
I just feel like I've been waiting to play. I got back and I was just waiting for the 13th to come so we could get back on the court.
Getting our minds right. A lot of sets have been put in, a lot of new sets. So we look forward to be putting them in the game. In terms of physically, we've been in the gym about 4 or 5 times a week, getting our bodies strong in the weight room, and hopefully it can translate on the court.
The Rustlers have back-to-back games against 2-8 Lethbridge College and Mount Royal, who's at 8-1. 2 teams heading in the opposite ends of the standings. The Rustlers are fully aware that a pair of wins isn't a slam dunk.
We fear none but respect all, so we expect to come into the game with the same approach with every other team we face.
Just because they're a lot weaker this season, we always got to be ready, so we're making sure we're up on our game film, and we just focus on how we're going to play mostly. So as long as we play hard, we play the same, it doesn't really matter.
Both of those teams are very well coached, so when you have good coaches, their teams are going to play hard. So every game, we just take it one game at a time, whether they're the top team or the bottom team.
You can catch both games this weekend. Tip-off is at 8 o'clock.